Okay? Magandang araw sa ating lahat. Ang tatalakayin ko ngayong hapong ito ay scenario building. This will somehow complement what we have already taken up since the start of this session of this particular course. For now, please commit to memory all the concepts that we have so far discussed, like signals, drivers of change, trends, issues, etc. Of course, the futures triangle that was just explained last synchronous session. Napakahalaga na bit-bit pa rin natin ang mga konseptong ito sa araw na ito. There are times when experts actually, ko lang yun. Okay, so this would be the outline. So as I have told you, we take off from futures triangle, and then we'll have to explain why some forecasts fail and what should be done, and then what is scenario building, and what are scenarios, and then for archetypes scenarios ni Jim Dator. So more or less, we have already discussed this last time, especially when we discuss social change, and then hybrid scenario archetypes, result and scenario narratives, and then scenarios versus strategies or strategic plan. Okay. And strategic plan rather. Okay. So kung papansinin niyo, this particular diagram is about futures triangle. Using the principles of futures triangle that we have discussed last time, it could also be used as a tool for scenario building. It depends on how the three vectors of the futures triangle would pull, push each other. So how they react. So kung paano sila magre-react, nagki-create sila ng mga scenarios. So depende on how strong one vector over the other and how one vector influence the other vector. So nagki-create siya ng maraming scenarios. Si Nani, a futures thinking scholar, was able to come up with this particular modification of futures triangle. So may mga units siya dyan. So depending on the strength of the vector, so nakaka-apekto siya doon sa scenario. So nakakabuo siya ng mga scenarios. So that's how we would take off from futures triangle papuntang scenario building. Okay. There are times when experts in a particular discipline fail to forecast eventualities or plausible futures or domains within their expertise. For instance, the Scientific American in 1909 declared that there will be no further development or innovation that would occur to the product because it already reached the limit of its development. So, akala nila all the possible innovations about the automobile industry is already saturated. Wala na. Tapos na ang development. Hanggang dyan na lang. Well, of course, this is premised on the observation that there was no concrete improvement that occurred in the last years. So parang wala naman ng development na nangyari. So palagay ko ito na yung saturation. Well, of course, the forecast clearly anticipated for the eventual collapse of the automobile industry or automobile product. Ang problema, nakita natin sa kasalukuyan na nagkamali ang forecast na iyon kasi noong 1909. Imagine, ang nag-forecast nito ay mga scientists din within the same industry. Pero nagkamali sila. That was in 1909. Alright. This one, I will not show the movie or the clip anymore. Sa Total Recall, in 1990, so that was how many years after 1909, inimagine ng mga uh, filmmakers sa pelikulang ito ni Arnold Schwarzenegger yata ito, inimagine nila yung self-driving car. So there was no self-driving car in 1990. So sa futuristic na pelikula na ito, uh, nakita natin na sumakay si Schwarzenegger doon sa isang kotse na walang driver, sa isang taxi na walang driver. Uh, ano yun? In 1990, that's unimaginable. But it was made possible because of this film. Okay. Now, a century after, okay, 1909, 1990, and then a century after, 2019, mayroon ng self-driving car. So, nilabas na yung self-driving car. So, uh, there was already a scenario building that happened in 1990. Okay. The forecast was that um, there would be an automobile or there would be a car na walang driver. So nakita natin yung maaari nating makitang sa pelikula ay mangyayari sa totoong buhay. So sa US, marami ng mga taxi ngayon. I don't know, Waymo ang tawag nila. Pwede ka nang mag-book sa Waymo. And then, parang sa Total Recall, taxi din yon. And then, dadaling ka na sa lugar na gusto mo nang walang driver. So, meaning, Total Recall correctly predicted the rise of self-driving automobile in the market. So, eto na yon. Sobrang dami na ng ang mga features ng kotse ngayon, di ba? Na noong 1909 hindi nila ma-imagine. So wala silang konsepto ng remote controlled car, wala silang konsepto noon ng automatic transmission na kotse, walang GPS, at higit sa lahat, wala talagang self-driving car na sa ngayon ginagamit na ng karamihan. Although there are still some restrictions. Okay. All right. Other sci movies that correctly predicted the future ay ito. Okay. Yung sa Star Trek, which was released in 1966, characters were shown using tablets, laptops, electronic drawing pads, at marami pang iba. The movie correctly predicted the rise of tablets as we know them today, di ba? Since 1966, lumabas lamang ang unang version ng tablet at cellphone noong 1990 sa pamamagitan ng Simon Personal Communicator ng IBM. Okay. So ang Space Odyssey noong 1968 na naglabas din ng isang senaryo na kung saan ang video conferencing ay possible, pelikula din yan, sci-fi movie. Sa ngayon, ang Skype at Zoom ay talamak ng ginagamit. Gaya nito, ginagamit natin. We are taking off from previous discussions, kaya ganito. Okay? Ang latest and perhaps the eeriest forecast that occurred is from the movie Contagion from 2011, or less than a decade prior to the COVID-19 pandemic. There were parallel scenarios that were identified doon sa Contagion tsaka COVID-19. Sa Contagion, the outbreak first identified in China. Sa COVID-19 pandemic started in Wuhan, China. Sa Contagion, the virus originated from a bat. Sa COVID-19, the virus is suspected to have originated from bats. Scientists scrambled to develop vaccines sa Contagion. Scientists have raced against time to develop COVID-19 vaccines. So nakita natin yan. So as you notice, the sci-fi movies from Total Recall, Star Trek, hanggang contagion at marami pang iba. Yung Minority Report of Tom Cruise, napakadami din yan. Okay? Uh, Offered scenarios that later became reality. Sometimes these future realities are towards transformation, development, or sometimes towards collapse tulad ng pandemic. Nakita rin natin sa unang bahagi na minsan ang mga forecast ng ilang eksperto ay hindi nagkakatotoo. Now, the question is, where lies the problem? Saan nagkakaroon ng failure? Bakit nagkakaroon ng failure kapag ka nagpo-forecast ka? Okay, let's go to the next slide. So, some forecasts fail talaga. Bakit? Forecasts fail because sometimes or even most of the time, experts in the field refuse to recognize the highly uncertain nature of the future. Okay? And what should we do? What should be done? Ibig sabihin, kailangan mayroon tayong gawin. So those who are indulged in forecasting the future should undertake high quality forecasts and scenario planning that consider all aspects and range of uncertainty. Kapag ka hindi mo kinonsider yung mga uncertainties at hindi mo ni-recognize yung mga uncertainties, your forecasting is doomed to fail. So, all areas must be covered, ika nga. And the forecast should be products of rigid and well thought of research through environmental or horizon scanning. So, binabanggit na natin yung mga terms na ito sa mga lessons natin in the past. Okay? At na-encounter nyo na yan sa mga readings ninyo. It is important that all signals, either weak signals or strong signals, drivers, barriers, trends, megatrends, or emerging trends must be taken into account. So, yun yung mahalaga para hindi mag-fail yung forecast mo. As much as possible, all areas must be covered. Hindi pwedeng nag-imagine ka tapos wala ka ng ibang inisip at naging fixated ka sa isang area. That's not the way to do it. As has been pointed out, the future is highly uncertain. This is the reason why buzzwords and acronyms that convey the unpredictability of the current and the future is buzzwords are really abounding. So napakarami nila. So tingnan natin yung mga yan. Siyempre, sikat na sikat sa atin ang VUCA. So alam natin yan. Volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous. Minsan dinadagdagan ko yan ng ginagawa ko siyang vocal. Yung letter L, it refers to lawless, which means it is not following any law or system. So yung nangyayari wala, haywire ang tawag natin diyan, di ba? So lawless ang mga phenomenon. Kaya volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous, and lawless. Di ba? Buka. Pero yung buka yung talagang ano dyan. Next is yung tuna. Ang tuna, yung we are living in a tuna world. We are not just living in a VUCA world, but we are living in a tuna world. Okay? Turbulent, uncertain, novel, and ambiguous. So, yan yung mga terms na sumisikat pagdating doon sa unpredictability ng mga nangyayari sa atin. And lastly, yung bunny. Everything is brittle, anxious, non-linear, incomprehensible. So lahat ng yan, they convey sort of unpredictability ng mga bagay-bagay sa lipunan at unpredictability ng mga bagay-bagay sa ating ginagalawang mga phenomenon. Okay? Kung kaya napakahalaga sa ating mga managers, mga scholars, mga stakeholders, halimbawa ng media or ng anumang agency or organization na magkaroon tayo ng handle para sa mahusay na scenario planning at scenario building. Kailangan natin ng tools at metodo para ma-imagine natin ng maayos ang ating mga scenarios. So that everything or all areas will be covered in our scenario planning. Okay. So, yan yung VUCA, volatility. Volatility refers to the speed, volume, nature, magnitude of a phenomenon that may or may not be in a pattern form. Volatility increases complexity. Complexity describes the amount of different states a system can get into at a certain point in time. The more states a system can get into, the higher its complexity and the harder it gets to manage. Uncertainty, sabi ni Sullivan, uncertainty occurs when there are no concrete trends or patterns, which makes it difficult to establish what will happen next and base decision on it. Ambiguity describes a situation where multiple interpretations are permitted and equally valid. This makes it hard to decide what to do in order to achieve a desired outcome. Okay. So, ang solution sa VUCA, the solutions for VUCA are apparently mental. So, kung papansinin ninyo, doon sa illustration na yun ni Sullivan, ang kailangan para ma-address natin yung VUCA world ay mental. You should have correct mental models. You should have mental preparedness. And we should have shared worldview in a particular organization. So, dito yung start niya. Okay. So, yun yung problem na kailangan natin solusyonan at mayroong solusyon. Kailangan mental model. Okay. So, kung mental model yan, ibig sabihin, yung VUCA, gagawin nating VUCA pa din. So, volatility, vision. So, that's future thinking. Uncertainty, kung mayroong uncertainty, ma-address mo yan sa pamamagitan ng you have to understand all areas. Okay. Kung complexity ang problema mo, kailangan magkaroon ka ng clarity. So, mental model ang importante dito. Kung ambiguity yung problema mo, kailangan mayroon kang agility. So, VUCA to VUCA pa din. So, vision, understanding, clarity, and agility. Sabi kasi natin, ang solusyon sa VUCA ay correct mental models, correct worldview. Okay? Kaya kailangan VUCA pa rin ang pang-solve mo dyan. Okay. Ibig sabihin, the realm of possibility is in the mind. So, lahat ng posible ay nandyan sa mind. It's in the mind. So, mahalaga talaga na marunong ka, mayroon kang correct mental model, mayroon kang magandang worldview. Ito rin yung jumping pad natin papuntang CLA, Cluster Layered Analysis Worldview. Ngayon, the basic question is, what is scenario building? Ang point natin is yung scenario building is a mental process. It's the development of your mental capacities to have a vision, to understand scenarios, to understand areas rather, to clarify things, and lastly, to be agile in any eventuality. So, okay, ganun yung premise natin kaya pumunta tayo ngayon sa scenario. Okay, scenarios are the perspectives on the future. There is not a single future ahead of us. There are several possible futures or scenarios. And the question therefore is, what are the futures in the future? Sabi ni Onofre D. Corpus, isa sa mga naunang future thinkers sa bansa. Okay. What is scenario building? So this can be described as a story. So story siya, di ba? Creative ito. Which is based on the analysis and understanding of current. Dito nagiging posible yung push of the present, di ba? Dito nagiging posible yung drivers, signals, trends, and megatrends. And then you also have to understand historic trends and events. Idugtong nyo yan dun sa Futures Triangle, weight of the past. Okay? Weight of history. It also includes a consistent description of possible future situations. Ano yun? Full of the future. Okay? Nakita nyo, yung Futures Triangle niyan, although a separate tool in futures thinking, may dudugtong mo yan sa scenario building. Gaya ng ginawa ni Pergnani, isang scholar sa NUS, para mapakita niya na, yung futures triangle, pwede mo rin siyang gamitin pang scenario building. So the development of sets of narrative scenarios helps to identify, sabi ni Widler, possible pathways towards a vision of the future. Okay. Makikita mo yung future kapag ka nagawa mo yan. Papaano pumunta doon sa future na pinapangarap mo. Doon papasok yung strategic planning. Doon papasok yung strategies na kailangan mong gawin para makuha mo yung vision for the future or of the future. Okay. Ito, I hope that this simple illustration captures the definition of scenario building. Okay. So, kung makikita nyo dyan, mayroong, yung tawag dito is, cone, futures cone. Kung makikita mo dyan, sinisilip mo yung future. So, para kang nandito, sinisilip mo yung future. Ano yung mga scenarios na mangyayari over time. Kaya napaka-importante nung time. The time horizon is very important because when you are peeking through a telescope para tignan yung scenarios in the future, kailangan mayroon kang identified time horizon. Okay. So, kung ano-anong masisilip mo dyan. So, mayroon kang, ito yung preferred future mo, ito yung gusto mo, nakita mo. Ito yung probable na mangyari, ito yung mga scenarios, itong mga yellow na ito, na nandoon sa future din, and then lahat ito plausible, and then lahat ito possible. Okay, makikita niyo yan. Mayroon kong kayong nakita dyan, wild card. So, itong wild card na ito yung hindi siya masyadong plausible. Parang ang tawag natin diyan, outlier siya. Hindi siya masyadong plausible pero posible siya na mangyari. So halimbawa, hindi posibleng mangyari na hindi plausible na mangyari in that particular time horizon na magkaroon ng alien invasion. Hindi plausible, pero posible. So pero outlier 'yan. So tawag natin diyan wild card, na. So yan yung illustration na yan. So ibig sabihin, what you have to do is to critically analyze and understand the present trends and events and historic events that so that it will allow you to describe and make a narrative or story about plausible or possible futures. Okay. So these narrative scenarios will somehow help us identify possible ways towards a vision of the future. Okay. So identifying scenarios or multiple future narratives may likely reduce possible futures into plausible futures. And from this, we can actively select our preferred futures. So, nakita nyo, magkakaiba yun. Ha? So, una, pag naaral mong mahusay, yung mga drivers, signals, trends, lahat ng yan, nakita mo sa present, sa current, at inaral mo yung kasaysayan, you can identify multiple future narratives. And then what you should do is, so alin dito ang mga possible futures, mas malawak yon, possible, at i-reduce mo into plausible futures. Ito mga outliers na ito mga wild card na ito, hindi masyadong malakas ang posibilidad na mangyari sila. Posible lang sila, pero hindi sila plausible. At mula dito sa plausible futures na nasilip mo, alin dito ang gusto mong future? So ito isang uri ng ang scenario building ay isang uri ng what if, di ba? At upang maging mahusay ang what if mo, kailangan mayroon tayong mahusay na tool or metodo para dito. So, possible, reduce it into plausible. From these plausible futures, you choose or select ano yung preferred future mo. Alright. So, ito yung illustration. So, ang sabi ko kanina, you analyze and understand the present trends and events, and then this will allow you, pati history, this will allow you to make narrative about the future, to tell a story about the future. So ito yung illustration na yan. So sabi ko nga, kailangan natin ng tool. Okay. Na-introduce ko na sa inyo itong 4 archetypes ni Jim Dator. Pero kung papansinin ninyo, dinugtong natin yan doon sa theories of social change. Kung natatandaan nyo pa. Kung hindi nyo natatandaan, balikan nyo yung video na in-upload ko dyan. Okay? Si Jim Dator, nag-develop siya ng 4 na scenario archetypes. So, maraming mga tools, scenario building tools, na maaari natin gamitin, pero in this particular session, I will present to you Jim Dator's alternative future scenarios or 4 future archetypes. Jim Dator developed this particular framework or model during his stint at the University of Manoa School of Future Studies sa Hawaii, USA. So, these future scenario archetypes are number 1, yung continued growth, number 2, yung collapse, and then yung discipline, and then yung transformation. We already you are already somehow familiar with this 4 archetypes kasi dinugtong natin yan doon sa social change. Kasi ang social change, yung iba't ibang uri ng teorya ng social change ay iba't ibang future scenario archetype yon. Okay. Yeah. These 4 archetypes may be presented sa pamamagitan ng figure na ito. If you notice, in building scenarios using the Dator's alternative future scenarios, there is still this need to identify the drivers of change. Mahalaga pa rin na i-identify mo yung drivers of change or those driving forces affecting the future. And usually, we do that through another or separate independent research, utilizing other methods such as scanning, literature review, Delphi, marami. So, pwede mong gawin yun para ma-identify mo yung drivers of change. This was already accomplished. I don't know if it was accomplished. Yeah, somehow we were able to do this during our workshop on futures triangle. So, we scan for signals, weak or strong, trends, megatrends, and emerging issues. Kung mapapansin, doon sa Futures Triangle, mahalaga, particularly sa push of the present, yung ginawang pag-identify natin ng mga drivers. So, sa scenario archetypes ni Jim Dator, nasa sentro pa rin yung drivers of change na yan. Now, isa-isay natin sila. So, isa-isay natin itong mga archetypes na ito. Yung continued growth, okay, evolutionary yan, di ba? Evolutionary social change yan. Continued growth is a future of steady economic and technological progress. In other words, this is a future of continuation and enhancement of the current trajectory. So nag-i-evolve siya. Some say this is business as usual, pero hindi. This is not business as usual. What is the difference between business as usual at saka ng continued growth? Business as usual is the continuation of the present. Ano yung present? Nagko-continue lang yung present. Stagnant siya. While continued growth is the continuation of its trajectory. Paangat ng paunti-unti. Magpapatuloy ng pacing ng kasalukuyang direksyon ng evolution. Kaya this is evolutionary social change. So yung scenario na yan, evolutionary yan. Kung babalikan niyo yung ating lesson sa social change. Growth in this particular scenario is slow, steady, and as I told you, naturally evolving. Now, let us go to the archetype of collapse. So this is a future where human societies reach a limit and then breaks down. So nag-break down sila. Societies reach a limit and then break down. So ganun yung nangyayari dyan. Many sci-fi movies, especially those dystopian movies na pinapanood natin, they convey this particular archetype. Yun bang matapos ang matagumpay at mabilis na acceleration ng technology, suddenly the society collapses, di ba? For instance, there are many forecasters who paint a gloomy scenario about the future of AI. Ang dami niyan. Singularity, yung dominance of AI over the human being, the destruction of the human ontology, and many others. Di ba? Ang dami niyan. Kung saan, there is suddenly an inversion. I mean, yung future where humanity becomes subservient to an AI-dominated environment. So, nagkaroon ng inversion. Dati tayong dominant, ngayon sila na. Parang gano'n. So, collapse ang tawag doon. Bigla siyang bumitaw. Biglang nagkaroon ng collapse. Scenario yan. So, biglang nawawa. Dystopian ang scenario na nakikita ng collapse scenario. Next is discipline scenario. This is a future of equilibrium or balance. So this is also regarded as managed future where regulations are imposed. This also refers to a steady state civilization focused on sustainability. Ibig sabihin yan, kapag ka lumalaglag, halimbawa, ito yung trajectory towards the future, biglang lumaglag yung ekonomiya, anong gagawin? Ang state pwede siya mag-intervene para umangat siya ulit. So maglalabas siya ng ayuda package para to get the economy going, di ba? O magbigay tayo ng pera para bigyan natin ng buying power yung mga tao kahit na walang pera, bigyan natin para umandar yung ekonomiya. So tawag doon, discipline scenario. So, mangingialam ang Estado, mangingialam ang mga institutions para magkaroon ng equilibrium o balance. Halimbawa, nung pandemic, nakita natin yan. There are several organizations, businesses at that, na magsasara kung hindi mangingialam yung management. Halimbawa, kung walang sales, ang management, ang pwede niyang gawin para mabalanse pa rin yung equilibrium, magkaroon pa rin ng balance at hindi tumaob entirely at maging collapse scenario ito. So, kung walang sales, halimbawa, ang kung walang sales ang isang kumpanya, lang construction, walang nagpapagawa ng bahay. So, anong ginawa ng mga managers during that time? They tried to manage it sa pamamagitan ng yung mga kontratista ng gobyerno, halimbawa, ang ginawa nila, nangontrata sila ng vaccine, nangontrata sila ng mask. Yan yung nangyari noon. So para magkaroon pa rin ng hanap buhay yung kanilang mga hindi sila mag-declare ng bankruptcy at mawalan ng trabaho yung kanilang mga manggagawa. So, pwede lang gawin yan. O kaya naman, kung gaya ng San Miguel, marami siyang negosyo, ang ginawa niya, nag-concentrate siya sa negosyo pang pagkain. So, imbes na mag-concentrate siya sa isang uri ng negosyo, dinala niya lahat yung kanyang, minanage niya yung kanyang resources papunta dun sa isa na mas malakas, and then, sinalo nila yung mga empleyado na doon sa mahinang industriya na ginagalawan din nila. So that's what we call discipline scenario or manage scenario, manage future. So lastly, we have the archetype of transformation. This refers to a radical departure from the present due to a transformative event or phenomenon. Technological, political, environmental, social. Pwedeng ito yung magdudulot ng mabilis at radical na transformation. This is the future where many aspects of human life will be redefined. Ito yung revolutionary change. Kasi bigla na lang ini-impose. Kasi biglang nagkaroon ng disruptive na pangyayari. Nagkaroon ng radical departure. Tawag natin dyan. So, yung continued growth, yun yung evolutionary, yung transformation, yun yung radical or revolutionary change. Yung balikan ninyo yung pinag-aaralan natin doon sa social change. Apat din yun, okay, na teorya. Okay, so we have continued growth, we have collapse scenario, transformation scenario, and then discipline. So yan, archetypes, yan lang naman yung archetypes. So makikita mo na agad anong mangyayari. Okay? Pero dapat inform ka ng mga drivers of change. Maganda yung handle mo dun sa mga drivers of change. So ganito yung itsura nila. Continued growth, paangat lang ng paangat. Ang collapse, biglang laglag. Pag na-meet niya na yung saturation level niya, it breaks down. So, collapse. Ang discipline, yan, umaangat, tapos hindi muna nila paangatin ng konti, and then hanggang sa mag-stabilize. So, may nangialam. So, para hindi sobrang bilis, pangialaman. Parang ganun. Para hindi sobrang bilis pababa, pangialaman para umangat at magbalanse ulit. Yan. Yan tawag natin yan, discipline scenario. Nangingialam. Okay? Sa pamamagitan ng pulisiya, nangingialam sa pamamagitan ng mga regulasyon, sa pamamagitan ng mga interventions na kailangan nilang gawin para maging balanse lahat ulit. Okay. And then we have transformation or radical departure. So, kung papansinin ninyo, evolutionary ito. Pangat lang. So, pwedeng mangyari, may mangyaring disruptive dito, tapos revolution, halimbawa. EDSA revolution, halimbawa. Aangat ulit, and then, yeah. So, ganyan itsura ng tinatawag nating archetypes ni ano. So, yeah. So, the trajectory of continued growth is steady, marahang pag-angat. Collapse, the trajectory usually starts from growth, then reaches a certain limit, and then it collapses and falls. Since discipline future naman is about equilibrium, ang balance is managed. The trajectory is controlled, and usually sustained through authoritarian regulations. Okay? Isa-isay natin ulit. Lastly, yung trajectory ng transformation, usually abrupt yan. Very sudden. And then disruptive movement sa curve, makikita mo yan. Yan, nakikita natin dyan. Okay? This was actually observed 2 decades ago when internet was introduced. Suddenly, nag-open ng maraming transformation, di ba? Transformation sa gaming, sa electronics, sa communication, sa nature of work, even sa education. So ngayon, yung phenomenon ng AI, gene editing, etc., these are all drivers, minsan nagkakaroon tayo ng mga labels dyan. Halimbawa, yung Industry 1.0, all the way down to Industry 4.0, etc., Internet of Things. Nilalagyan natin ng markers yan kung saan yung disruptive na nangyari sa transformation. According to Jim Dator, these four futures are generic, okay? Meaning, we should keep in mind that there is no good or bad archetypes. Tandaan nyo yan. Kasi hindi, yung collapse, bad dyan. Hindi yan, hindi ganon. Hindi nangangahulugan collapse, bad na. Bad na yung future. Hindi. Pag growth, positive na. Hindi pwede yun. Why? Because according to the Dator, these archetypes do have common databases. Common yung mga drivers of change and signals, trends, emerging weak signals, pare-pareho yan eh. Which we have gathered through our environmental or horizon scanning ng mga industriya na yung ginagawa natin. Kung nasa media, in-scan natin siya, yan. Common yung kanilang driver. So, there is actually a simple formula to illustrate this. Halimbawa, yung drivers of change mo ay negative. Okay? Increasing ang cost ng coffee. Okay? Economic driver yan. Magbibehave yung driver mo na yan sa archetype ng continued growth, apparently pataas siya. Patuloy ang pagtaas ng presyo ng dahan-dahan. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, negative pa rin siya kahit na nasa continued growth siya. Gets? So, negative yung driver of change mo. Kasi increasing cost of coffee. Kung increasing siya, patuloy siyang tumataas, continued growth yun. Pero kung tumataas siya, negative yung iyong scenario. Kasi ang nag-continue na magpatuloy na umunlad ay yung negative driver mo. Bawa, same driver. Paano? Same driver, yung increasing cost of coffee. Okay? Paano ito magbibehave sa collapse scenario? Patuloy ang pag-increase and then na-reach niya ang kanyang increase limit for whatever reason, hindi natin alam. Then, the cost suddenly collapses. So, nag-collapse ang cost, positive yan. So, sa discipline scenario, ima-manage ang cost ng coffee to maintain equilibrium and to remain sustainable. Yung driver natin na increasing cost of coffee, paano siya mag-behave? So, positive yan. Paano kung radical change? So, yung driver ko, increasing cost of coffee, para mas simple lang, no? Pang Starbucks lang. Paano siya mag-behave if there is a radical change or transformation? It would behave negatively or positively depending on the disruptive phenomenon. So, halimbawa, kung ang disruptive phenomenon ay pandemic caused by virus from coffee, mawawalan ng demand ng coffee, laglag ang presyo. Positive yun. Okay? Laglag ang presyo, hindi positive yun. Pero kung halimbawa, ang disruptive ay nawalan ng supply ng coffee, tataas lalo. Nawalan ng supply, tumaas ang demand, tataas lalo pa ng higit yung coffee cost mo. So, di ba? So, ganun yung laro ng scenarios na yan. So, depending on the driver or drivers of change na na-identify mo. So, now, here, you see another tool. Ang tawag dito ay hybrid scenario archetype, similar to the Dator's alternative archetypes. there are also four archetypes here. First, we have disowned futures, we have preferred futures, outlier futures, and integrated futures. If you notice, nasa sentro pa rin yung drivers of change. Okay? In this one, this hybrid scenario was developed by Center for Engaged Futures. Okay? Uh, so isa-isayin natin itong mga ito upang lubos po nating maunawaan. Una, we have disowned futures. This is the future that we do not want to happen. Ayaw nating mangyari ito. We do not want this future to ever occur. Okay? As the term suggests, this is what we disown. Ayaw natin. So, halimbawa, China invades the Philippines in 2020-2050. Okay? Ayaw natin yan. World War III in 2040, ang lapit, no? Ayaw natin yan. Disown future yan. Ano naman yung preferred future? This is our desired future. Gusto natin ito. O ito yung the better future, di ba? Ito yun. This is the future that we are striving to accomplish, ika nga. This is the future that drives us into action. So, halimbawa, economic domination of the Philippines in the world in 2050, di ba? Sa pakinggan, di ba? Preferred future mo yan. Then we have the outlier futures. This is the future that is weirder than expected. This is a strange future. Kanina, example ko lang, alien invasion yan. O kaya, um, um, ano yan, pagbabalik ng mga dinosaurs, yung mga strange future yan. Pero ngayon, nagagawa nila yan, nakakagulat na di ba? Kasi kumukuha sila ng mga fossil, tapos ang mga archaeologists, and then kukunin nila yung DNA, and then ikakopy nila sa laboratory, tapos ano yan, yung polar bear yata, may nakuha sila di ba? Nakapagbuo sila ng bagong ano ba yun? Ano yung ancient species ng polar bear, tapos nakakuha sila ng ano, tawag dito ng DNA niya, sample pula sa mga fossil. Binuhay nila sa laboratory, hindi na kinlone. Binuhay nila talaga. Batay doon sa mga DNA ng mga existing polar bear, di ba? And lastly, yung tinatawag nating integrated futures. Here, yung three futures na outlier, disowned, preferred, are integrated. Okay? The center of the story or the meat of the narrative is where the preferred future becomes agile. Okay? The preferred future could, should, or would quickly adjust to avoid the disowned future and ultimately thrive by integrating the unexpected. So, yun yung integrated future. So, yung preferred, maging agile siya, maiwasan niyo yung disowned, di ba? And then, mag-i-integrate niya yung outlier. Parang ganun eh. So, ang tawag dyan, halimbawa, improve digital diplomacy or tech diplomacy para magkaroon ka ng magandang future. Kunwari, kung ito'y may usapin ng technology. Okay? Doon sa kung babalikan ninyo yung journal article which we wrote about Rizal and his forecast sa Pilipinas, inisa-isa namin na gawin yaan. So, naglagay kami ng, although doon sa article, hindi nyo nakita ito kasi ito yung part na inano ng, sabi ng editor, we have it separate kasi para hindi masyadong magulo yung article kasi pwede ito kasi isang article na sabi ng editor ng Journal of Futures Thinking. So hindi nakasama ito doon sa article na binasa ninyo. Kaya ito, papakita ko kung paano natin pwedeng ilapat yung future archetypes doon sa mga predictions ni Jose Rizal. So in his French in his essay, The Philippines a Century Hence, written in 1889, And in his December 15, 1896, dalawa, Rizal made the following predictions. One, the Philippines will one day declare herself independent. Two, the great American Republic with interest in the Pacific may one day think of acquiring possessions beyond the seas. Three, the Philippines will defend with indescribable ardor the liberty she bought at the cost of so much blood and sacrifice. Four, Japan will swallow us. Five, once liberated, the Philippines will perhaps establish a federal republic. And six, the Philippines will perhaps enter openly the wide road of progress and will work jointly to strengthen the mother country at home as well as abroad. Binanggit yan doon sa article pero hindi namin siya nilapat doon sa kay Jim Gator. Ngayon, ito yung paglalapat. Pero mayroong konting pagbabago dyan because mayroong isang futurist na nagtanong, hindi dapat isama ang Japan will swallow us at saka the Great American Republic with interest in the Pacific. May one day think of acquiring possessions beyond the seas sa collapse. Kung papansinin ninyo, wide road of progress, continue dyan. Dire-diretso lang, hinay-hinay, malumanay, magiging progresibong bansa tayo. Pero kung kailan, hindi natin alam. So, nilagay namin yung wide road of progress ni Rizal doon sa continued growth. Philippines will one day declare herself independent. Transformative yon, radical, kasi revolusyon ang sinasabi niya dyan. The Philippines will defend with indescribable ardor the liberty she bought at the cost of so much blood and sacrifice. Revolusyon yan. Kaya nandito yan sa transformation archetype. Discipline. Once liberated, the Philippines will perhaps establish a federal republic. So, yun yung intervention. So, kumuha tayo ng isang federal republic. Discipline scenario yan. Dito lang yung bakit sabi ng futurist na nag-comment during doon sa article namin, kaya pinahiwalay niya ito. In-adjust namin ng konti, kaya lang gusto niya hiwalay na article na lang. So Japan will swallow us, the Great American Republic with interest in the Pacific may one day think of acquiring possessions beyond the seas. So, bakit? Hindi yan collapse, sabi niya, kasi yung pinanggalingan mo, yung starting point mo, ay colonize ka ng Spain. So kapag ka may pumalit lang na colonizer, dire-diretso colonize pa rin yung status mo. Ibang tao lang. Ibang bansa lang, sabi niya. Which we accepted. Tama nga naman kasi iniisip namin collapse kasi, nag-collapse lahat ng institutions kasi ginera tayo ng Amerika, ginera tayo ng Japan. Pero that's not the way to predict it, sabi niya. Kasi ganun din naman eh. Dire-diretso pa rin, sakop ka pa rin nila. Ibang nananakop lang, sabi niya. So in fact, that's continued growth. Anyway, debatable pero so far, ang assessment namin, let's try, tignan natin, baka nga naman tama siya. Pero foreigner, yung nag-review. And then nag-usap-usap kami na nagsusulat dun sa article. Let us try to articulate kung anong sinasabi niya. Tignan natin kung kaya natin i-articulate na maayos. So we tried that siguro baka next year makalabas yung next article namin about this, concentrating on Jim Gator and Rizal lang. Malinaw naman yung discipline, nag-impose ka ng isang polisiya, regulasyon para magkaroon ng equilibrium. Federal Republic ang prediction ni Daan. Okay? So, ano yung mga drivers of change para makapag-predict ng ganito si Jose Rizal. So una, mayroong technological and economic developments in America. Sabi niya, nagiging powerful sila. Tapos sa Japan, grabe, nakabisita siya sa Nueva York, nakabisita siya sa Japan, nakita niya yung nationalistic fervor ng mga Japanese at saka yung kanilang technological development. Sabi niya, ay naku, mananakop din tong mga to. Kaya nga yung pagdating ng mga Japanese dito, di ba? Asia for Asians ang kanilang campaign. So, mayroong nationalistic flavor yun. And then yung establishment ng Katipunan, nakita niya yan. So there is also a brewing nationalism na maaaring pagmulan nito ng revolusyon. So para sa transformation. And then nakita niya sa pag-iikot niya sa Europa, sa Amerika, sa Belgium, yan, nakita niya yan. Mayroong mga, sa Germany, nag-establish na sila ng mga federal republics around the world. So feeling niya tayo, mag-establish din yan. Pero malayo pa, 100 years, sabi niya. Nakita niya rin na hindi homogeneous ang lipunan. So wala tayong pagkakaisa-isa. Although mayroon tayong industry, masipag at matyaga tayo, so more or less magiging kung continued growth, magiging matagumpay at maunlad na bansa pa rin naman tayo. So, nagtanong si Rizal, how might futures look like? Sabi niya, say in 100 years. So, ang time horizon niya 100 years, 1896 to 1990. So, tama ba? Lumabas pa yung mga forecast niya? Obviously, ang hindi na lang nangyayari dito is establishment of Federal Republic at saka yung wide road of progress. Grabe kasi corruption, kaya wide road of progress. Palagi ko dahil sa gulo na yan, magiging federal tayo. Ang mga kawalang yan ng mga politiko natin. Corrupt. Okay. Sa hybrid scenario, pwede mo pa rin ilapat yan. Yan. Sa hybrid scenario, this own future, ayaw mo na masakop ka ng Amerika, ayaw mo masakop ka ng Japan. Preferred future, i-declare natin ng sarili nating independent, wide road of progress, magkaroon ng Federal Republic. Integrated, the Philippines will defend with indescribable ardor the liberty she bought at the cost of so much blood and sacrifice. So, yan yung integrated future. Hindi siya naglagay ng outlier. Anong pwede niya bang maging outlier? Mayroong artificial intelligence. Dapat nung time na yun, hindi niya naisip yun. Di ba? Outlier yun, nung may domination ng machine over human being. Di ba? Outlier sana yun. Hindi niya nakita yun. Siyempre, mahirap na yun, 100 years. Tsaka hindi naman talaga siya trained futurist. Di ba? Tayo, makikita mo na yan. Mas advantage sa atin. Alright. Ito yung complete process of building scenario or scenario building. Okay? The starting point is here. By the way, Moriarty et al. Ito. The starting point is here is always the present. Okay? And then you forecast divergent future scenarios based on the signals and drivers. So, based on current trends. So, mayroon kang scenario 1, scenario 2, scenario 3, scenario 4, many scenarios. Kasi future scenarios yan. Okay? Then, you design corresponding strategies to achieve the preferred future. Di ba? Magdidisenyo ka. So, anong gagawin mo? Mag-strategic plan ka. Ano yung strategy mo? Anong strategy mo? Kung itong scenario 1 ang nangyari, anong strategy mo? So, scenario 2, anong strategy mo? Scenario 3, anong strategy mo? Kung ito yung original vision mo. Paano kung mayroong outlier na nangyari? Hindi na-capture dito. So, mayroong scenario 4, the outlier. Okay? Strategy pa rin, pero para makita mo, wala namang realistic strategy para ma-achieve ko yung original vision ko dyan. Kasi nagkaroon ng alien invasion, nagkaroon ng machine domination. Anong mangyayari? Hindi ko na-consider yon. Kung hindi kaya ng strategy mo, adjust mo yung vision mo. Okay? Ang tawag dyan, from your original vision, because something happened, it's not unexpected, it's expected kasi kinover mo lahat eh. So, mayroon ng yun ang ganda ng futures thinking. Kinover mo lahat. So, dahil na-cover mo naman yan, May strategy ka pa rin pero hindi na towards original vision, towards an adjusted vision. Bihira yung ano bihira naman talaga na starting point mo lahat ng scenarios nakita mo and then lahat ng strategy papuntang original vision. Mayroon at mayroon kang makikitang outlier. Wild card, ang tawag natin dyan sa future thinking. Okay? Yun lamang at maraming salamat. Uh, Parang ang workshop ninyo is about cluster layered analysis. So, same group tayo, magka-cluster layered analysis. Ipapaliwanag na lang natin yung cluster layered analysis later. Okay? Salamat!